Welcome once again back to the lab. It is your old Professor Pilk. Now, we've talked a lot over the past couple of weeks about the Nintendo Switch 2. It is a pretty hot controversy. I will call it that. Is that a fair assessment? I don't know. We initially were kind of recommending the Switch at a price point of $400. I do think by probably within a year or so, it'll probably be at that price point. The Mario Kart bundle at $499 is a pretty respectable value considering what these games are going to cost afterwards. A lot of people are up in arms because it looks like a lot of games are going to be upwards of $90 if you want a physical copy. A lot of questions: will those physical copies even truly be physical copies? Though I think a lot of, especially large studios, are going to have a hard time justifying that not being the case. We'll see how that plays out. Like, the whole thing's just been a major debacle, so to speak. And a couple days ago, we got some pricing out. Now, there's a lot of questions. That's why I haven't really covered this up to this point, because there's a lot of questions as to what is going to be the thing. Obviously, there's a current, I'm going to go ahead and call it trade war. Even people in politics have called it that lately. There's a trade war in the United States, and it is affecting all kinds of stuff. So let's talk about this. So when this was initially proposed and we had all the tariffs and all that stuff, we didn't know what the price was going to be. A lot of people have thrown around price tags up to $600-$700 for the Switch 2, but thankfully it seems like the Switch 2 will still be the $449 price tag. I still think $399 is a better price, more reasonable price for it, but I'm going to get it anyway. Hopefully, I'm in for pre-orders at least. So for $449 isn't the end of the world, and I think $499 is a better value when you really look at what you're getting with it, because you are getting a game. Although this should be remotely backwards compatible, it's not fully backwards compatible, which is dumb. Dear video game manufacturers, when you have a console like this, not having backwards compatibility is a bad thing. It just does not instill a lot of confidence in your product. But obviously Mario Kart being bundled is a great thing. Mario Kart World is going to be $79.99, $89.99 if you want a physical copy, which I'm going to be after. Donkey Kong Bonanza is apparently only going to be $70, probably $80 if you want the physical copy. And the Switch Pro Controller, this is the first big change we've seen, is going to be $84.99, not $80.99, or $79.99, which is what we kind of expected to see that price at. So that's gone up $5. Joy-Cons were going to be $90, or now $95. That is an increase of $5. There's the increased grip that was going to be $35, is now $40. The Joy-Con 2 strap was going to be $12.99, now it's $13.99. And the Joy-Con 2 wheel set is $24.99. It was going to be $19.99. And then the Switch 2 camera, this is the one that's kind of a big upgrade, was going to be $50. Now it's $55. And the Switch 2 extra dock set, which to me isn't like a huge deal. This is like a really niche thing. Like, you either break a dock, which is really rare to do, or like in my situation, having an extra dock's really handy because, we'll use the Switch 2 upstairs and here in my studio. So instead of having to like unplug and plug it in every time, just having an extra dock is very handy. With the old Switch, it was like $180, which is crazy. So this is actually kind of a better price tag. I always thought $180 was insane. So having an extra dock is apparently going to be $120. That's up even $10. So that's really not too bad if that's actually what that is. I'm hoping that's not just an extra price just for the dock, but I mean, the dock should be included with the Switch too. So yeah, that's actually, like, these prices are kind of what we're seeing now. And why would the prices have gone up? Because the tariffs are on China, not Japan, or at least at the moment. This could all change. But some of these peripherals, we know the Switch 2 itself is being made in Vietnam and I think Cambodia, but the reality here, or is it Malaysia? One of the two. Anyway, but it's not being made in China. It's not manufactured in China. That is totally not a thing. But that doesn't mean the peripherals themselves aren't subject to that. portions of the peripherals could have to be sourced from China or whatever. So that would be the case. Continuing on, the Switch 2 carrying case and screen protectors, $40 instead of 35. The Switch 2 all-in-one carrying cases, $85 instead of $80. And the Switch 2 AC adapter has gone up if you need a spare one. Has gone up from $30 to $35. So really the base system and the games are the only thing that's not changing, because those are the things that are not being manufactured, or at least like taking place in China. So good news is it looks like the Switch 2 is retaining its price. Unfortunately, that doesn't mean just about every other peripheral for it is going up in price. So that truly does suck, especially for an already expensive system that's already having some. I think it's going to be widely adopted. I think a lot of people that are naysaying it right now are going to be turned around within a matter of weeks, maybe even sooner. Plus, we already know this is going to be a hot ticket item come the holiday season coming up. So if you want one, now's the time to get it. Now, when do those pre-orders come available? Well, we already know that Nintendo is still sticking to their original pre-order date, which was May 5th, I believe. It looks like the current pre-order date for everything else is unofficially the 24th of April. That has not been confirmed, but a lot of leakers and a lot of other people have said that's the number that the date that they've seen floating around. I'm currently waiting to hear back from several retailers regarding my potential pre-orders. I'm basically going to try to get it from a couple different retailers before I rely on Nintendo, just because I don't want to be stuck out in the cold. I think what's going to happen is a lot of bots and a lot of scalpers are going to be picking these up and then trying to like stash them away for the holiday season, because, November, basically like end of October to middle of December, the price of these things are going to shoot up. People are going to be paying up to $1,000 or more for these systems, just because that's what happens. You have those parents that will just pay stupid amounts of money for a console because they got to have it. And then, so that, don't buy from scalpers, guys. Just 100% don't buy from scalpers. That is part of the problem. So if you want to get your pre-order, now's the time. Go, jump into your whatever retailer. Keep an eye out for that. But apparently midnight on the 24th is the current perceived pre-order time. So we will see how that plays out. Good luck to all of you out there that are actually trying to get this. Me personally, I am trying to get one. Normally I'd wait, because there's certain ways in which I can actually get mine for free. But I feel like if I wait, I'm going to lose the opportunity. So only time will tell on that one. So I will probably have to legitimately fork over dough for this, which sucks too, because I'm gonna have to do that right before I go on my trip for Gaming Across America, when we're going to be going to Dallas here at the end of the year. By the way, if you guys are in the Dallas, Texas area, or Fort Worth, or anywhere near there, we're going to be doing a Gaming Across America meetup. If you don't know what that is, that's another YouTube channel I do with Goshen's Games and a couple other content creators. We're going to be doing it. Goshen and I are going to be in Dallas, Texas at DreamHack, and we'll be doing a meetup afterwards. Plus, we'll be checking out some of the gaming stuff in you guys' areas. I already have a couple of barcades and a couple of locations we're going to be checking out. If you have any recommendations, please check that out. Check out that channel. Once again, Gaming Across America is always in the title and all the other stuff. But nevertheless, I digress. I don't know how I feel about this, because the peripherals were already crazy expensive. I will probably not be forking over money for a Pro Controller for the Switch 2, just because, if what I understand is correct, the old peripherals will work, and that new C button isn't really a factor for me. So we'll have to see what the compatibility rate is with the old stuff to the new stuff. Your aftermarket manufacturers, I'm a big fan of PowerA. I use a lot of their products. Like they're still going to be making products for these. There will be a lot of secondhand products available at launch. So, I think that's going to be a better use of your money and your buying power, especially with the price of all this happening. But I don't know. We'll see. It's going to be crazy, guys. It is going to be wild. This is a really volatile time to be dropping a new console, but like it just doesn't seem like it's ever going to work out in Nintendo's favor. Uh, Hopefully this goes over a little better than the PS5 did during the COVID era, but only time will tell. Till then, that's the news. If anything changes, I'll let you guys know. But this has been static for at least like 3 days now, so I don't think things are going to change too much. We'll see if the 24th remains the pre-order date. Like, share, comment. Who knows? Stay tuned. It's could change by the minute. This could change before I have to launch the video. Who knows?